Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. My name is Jean. It's your boy, spelled like Jean.
And it's your boy, John, with the silent H. Welcome to episode number 58 of the Work for Change podcast. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
And so we hear you guys, we know, and by you guys specifically, I mean my wife, Sam. You want more interviews. I get it. You're tired of hearing just us talking. And we delivered this week.
Yep.
You want to go into, well, before you do that, we want to give some announcements. First thing, shirts, sweaters, new design. We have them out. It's the Work for Change Deaf Panther, because if you look at it, it looks a lot like the panther on the Def Leppard famous t-shirt.
It's a similar font and everything. So
yeah.
So we have...
not going to say we copied it, but we found
lots of inspiration from them. So there's still hoodies. I think it's large and under the sizes. And then I think we still have t-shirts up to size 4XL for you guys that are curious. So make sure you check those out because we're really happy with them. And they look sweet. Everyone's getting them finally. And
yeah,
they're
people are starting to get them in. They're posting them. It's pretty cool. It's really cool to see. Okay, so let's talk about who we got today.
Okay, so we have my friend Dex Hopkins. So he is actually about to be a 3-time games athlete. He's on the team of the Ramwad Meat Squad. They just qualified through Filthy 150, and he is honestly one of the kindest people I have ever met. And it's a really, really good conversation, but it is very CrossFit centric.
So if you don't have like a background in CrossFit, or if it's not like your regular training methodology, you might be kind of confused by the things he says. But I don't want that to be you don't listen to this episode, because this one, when you're talking to him, and I talk about it during the podcast, you see his heart. For his passion for coaching, but not just coaching, but his passion for wellness and health and being smart with your training and your movement. And so it's very contagious. Like, I was getting excited for coaching my next class, and I'm not a coach. So like,
it was weird. John was,
it was weird.
Ready to coach people.
I like
doing
got
things.
a whistle out halfway through and started just whistling.
He was like, all right, one more bite of your Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Like, but seriously, it's a really good episode. Dex, again, like the passion just kind of oozes out of him, and his accent's very cool, so I think you guys will appreciate that as well.
If you guys could, give him a follow on Instagram. It's at Dex Hopkins. We'll put it in the show notes. We'll put it...
DEXHOPKINS.
We'll post
Dex
about
Hopkins.
it on our new Instagram. If you haven't followed that yet, it's at Work for Change Podcast on Instagram.
Yeah.
We'll like have a picture. We'll tag him in it, so you can go follow him. And if you go follow him on his most recent picture, just say, found you because of Work for Change podcast, or something like that. Like, mention us just so we can show him how much we appreciate. If like 200, 300 of you guys end up following him and leave a comment, that would be so cool. And we know you guys can. So follow us at Work for Change podcast. Follow him at Dex Hopkins. Go to beastworks.co/workforchange. Get yourself some new sick merch. And
we'll shut up now.
Well, yeah. Enjoy this episode 58 of the Work for Change podcast.
All right. Dex, thank you so much for being on the podcast, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. So Dex is a 2 times and about to be going for the 3rd time, right? Games athlete.
Yeah, coming up, yeah.
And so that's awesome. I definitely want to talk about that. He used to be the owner of an unbelievably sick beard, correct?
Yeah. That just taken down by charity and good works. The beard went down for a good.
And also something that Jean, I remember he was actually following you before I ever even heard of you, was because you used to do these daily stories, right, on your Instagram.
I put one up the other day, yeah.
That would document your training and stuff.
Yeah, just straight warm-up clips is what it is. It's funny. It looks like I have like a camera crew, and people would message me like, bro, who are you paying to record you? I was like, this really cheap $6 Amazon tripod I move around while I warm up, and then get really cool music so it looks like I'm doing stuff hardcore.
Yeah, I remember Jean would show me them, and he would tell me that these go up every single day, and I was just like, I couldn't even imagine doing that. They were like really cool. You would, I remember thinking like that seems like a lot of work.
Oh, dude, keep it to a minute. If you put like a hard time, like this is not going to be any longer than this, then it was fine. And then like the way they started letting you do stories, I just posting stuff every day when other people do it is obnoxious to me, unless it's like you walking under mistletoe doing the old Scott Steiner bicep kick. I can get down with that. But yeah, I'm just not like, your voice talking into a camera every day is great. Mine sounding like Forrest Gump, and you know exactly where I'm from when I speak. Like, nobody's ever asked me where I'm from. I have to lie to them and tell them I'm from California or something. Oh, this is actually French. But yeah, and so that was like me, and like I like making videos. I'm not the best at it. Like, it was just me cutting stuff to my favorite songs, trying to make myself look cool, and it felt way less obnoxious than making a post every day like, "Hey, I did power cleans again today. Thanks."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that when you were doing, you would start talking. So yeah, like I was doing Misfit for a solid 3 months. It was a great.
Purple Rain. That's a good stint. You were committed.
It was a solid.
What is Misfit for people out there that might not know what that is?
I am the wrong person. We literally have someone right here who can say what Misfit is.
Misfit Athletics, man, it is a competitive program. Used to be geared strictly towards regionals athletes. Set it on the website, and I was fortunate enough to work with them my first year when I went to regionals in 2014. Met them through my buddy Cam Wilson. Went to a camp, was just kind of taken back by how personal the guys were and how much they cared about you as an athlete and person, and just. They were not into you having to sacrifice yourself at the altar of competition, right? They wanted you to move well. They wanted you to take care of yourself, and they wanted to be a part of taking care of you if they could. And, I had been doing another program to where I could not get a guy to email me back. And it was just, I'm coaching myself through videos, and it's the first time I actually had some coaching besides the guy I started with locally, just laying hands on me. And we're still all really good friends, man. I love those guys. It's Drew, Ted is involved now. Seth has since branched off and moved to Florida, which is insane because Maine is the North Pole. And yeah, it's ridiculous. Ted's bought in. Sherb is there. Hunter's there. It's a good group of cats. They're very forward thinking and aggressive. And I'll always love those cats. I don't work with them anymore. We stay in contact, man. Ted was actually just in Dallas hanging out. We were helping do some stuff with a UFC shoot with Preston Smith and Jonathan Mayfield. So
nice.
It was really good for my athletic career. I got, we had fun, man, at the heart of it. And that's, if you've ever been around me doing any kind of competition stuff, like I'm about the fellowship as much as the fitness, sometimes heavy on that. But we just had fun, and I love purple and camps. And I used to coach with them. And connect with a lot of people, right? Like I would have never met you through anything else probably except like a funny Instagram post, and they were hitting the media stuff out of the park. Like Ted is awesome. And, Ted does really good work, man. And he's kind of wears a lot of hats for them now, but super fortunate to work with them. But that's what it was. Competitive program, and still is. There's a lot of different avenues now. That monster has several heads now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so I jumped on for a little bit. And for a very, very little bit.
He's like a fire that burns bright.
I burn bright
and short.
Hey, if you're gonna drive it like it's the whole way.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think through there, that's somehow I, saw your Instagram, was like, this guy's legit, followed you, and then saw your daily stories and was just like, oh, this is sick. And so me and my girlfriend at the time would
now wife.
We would just like watch the stories at the end of the day. Like, oh, let's watch, because she was doing it kind of with me too. And so it was just like a cool way of being like, I don't know, I did that today. That sucked, or something like.
Dude, and that was the draw. Like, that was the draw, and it still is, right? Like Travis and Alexis, Brandon Luckett still have a ton of good athletes, and like consistently have had that. Like they put cats in the games. Cody Mooney, just the prettiest CrossFitter to ever live.
Yep.
And that was always my thing, right? So I knew people in the space that collected racehorses, and it was a real draw to me as an athlete and moving forward in my career as a coach, that they were about meeting you where you were at and building you and kind of not mixing words about it. They were really honest, and that's what they did. They built it, and it was like a cool thing to connect with everybody. And they did such a good job of fostering that community, like in the Facebook groups. Now there's some private ones, or there have been for a while. And especially like on Instagram. Now they just came out with, I think it might be Sugar Watch for the affiliates, but they just got the leaderboard on the blog now, right? So like what you're talking about, like we did the same thing that day. Because it used to be like a mystery, right? Like some people post and you would be able to call BS, but they, now it's like a ranked leaderboard. Like you can go on there and pick RX, scaled, whatever. So it's gotten really cool as far as linking people up.
I saw that you were getting involved in. So, do you still video things? Like, is that still like a hobby of yours or a passion of yours that you're doing, or is that kind of?
Dude,
like...
I love. I got when Instagram lets you put videos up. I used to. That's how I coached myself at first. Just because I've always I'm a bigger athlete, and you just. I think I've always prioritized moving well, and it got really reinforced by the boys with MF, and it was a tool I used at first, and you've been around me. I dance, music, making videos is fun. And then I got into where I bought a camera because I kind of maxed out what you could do with your phone. Started doing it at the affiliate I was working at in Lexington for a few opens. And that was when I was using what you thought it took forever. It did. I would shoot a video on Friday. I couldn't have it done by Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea. And I'm about the efficiency now. So I made it to where it was efficient and fun, and that made it more fun to me to be able to just pump something out and learning how to do it. And have I actually tried to develop it? I won't lie and tell you yes. I'll play around with color grading and stuff, but I just want a fire track, and I want to cut on the snares and make it look cool and make some stuff motion with my friends. So
It's funny that you say that because that's as far as I've gotten to. With editing, it's
all you need,
good music, and then make sure it matches up with the kick and the snare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you throw some slow motion in there, people will think that you know what you're doing, and that's all you need to do.
You're George Lucas.
Yep.
You probably shot Star Wars. And you think people, man, they used to message me all the time oh, what do you edit these on? It's iMovie on my phone, bro. This was 16 5-second clips. But it was just fun, and I got to where I saw, and it played with what I love coaching. I'm a coach first, an athlete for fun, and super fortunate with that. But the way it made me feel good to see me, right? If I moved well and I showed it to people, they were like, "Oh man, this looks great. You could fix stuff." But when I started doing affiliates, man, and my heart's always been for loving on people and people getting to see themselves in an affiliate and do the stuff that when they came in maybe necessarily couldn't do it or thought it was impossible, and now you're looking cool on the video, and they just ate it up. So at Derby City is where I was doing that every day. And then, you got people scrambling around and trying to get in the class that's got the camera in it. Because the first week before they know, they're like, "Oh, don't put me on camera." But it got to where it was helping fill other people's cups and build confidence and just things that were kind of not necessarily low hanging fruit for people when they come in, because people, you bring all your baggage with you and your kind of insecurity stuff. And it really helped unload people from that. And that was cool to me. That's, making other people feel good. I feel like that's why you get into the business I'm in. And it helped a lot with that. So at Derby City, boy, I was pumping them out daily. I put them on the end. And I do mine because we were just there. We had a great group of coaches. And my best friend, Vic Sanders, moved there. And we just, from 1 to about 4, until we couldn't breathe or move, we would go. And it was a good time. So it got way out of hand, and I was trying to do way too much there. But it was because people were like, "Man, I appreciate that, blah, blah, blah. Can you send me that video so I can show my girlfriend, mom, sister, brother?"
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll take pictures of you.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I love doing it. And especially if it's making other people feel good.
Well, it's funny that you say that because Jean actually does a similar thing at our gym. During the open, this last open, he would go to the Friday Night Lights and he would take pictures and video. Yeah. And he would sit there, the night of, everyone worked out. He did the workout too, right? He's all sweaty. He's importing the clips into his computer, editing them up. Everyone's standing behind him being like, "Hey, I like that one. Can you put that one?" And by everyone, I was one of the main people. I'm like, "Hey, let me get that picture." Airdrop. Yep. Just airdrop me real quick right now. And he would edit these, and even sometimes we'd make videos right when the open would come out. The workout would come out. We would have one of our coaches do the workout and then give the gym some of the tips that they had. And John would film and edit those. And I remember thinking, I was like, man, only like 20 people are going to see this. Well, why are you stressing so much about making it cool? It's like he just wanted to do it because he cared about the people that were going to be watching it. And for Jean, it's like a real passion for him. I know that I'm literally speaking for you as you're next to me. But.
Yeah, no. There's like a pride that comes out of making cool stuff. You know, like just like the reward of it being made is reward enough. You know, and so that was kind of like I just want to make this. It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be cool.
Were you into artistic stuff like growing up? Like, did you paint or anything? Anything?
No. So I was never athletic, ever.
Surprise!
Yeah, yeah. You wouldn't know if you walk in my videos. But like never athletic. But when I was a freshman in high school, I learned how to play guitar, and I just like took that.
He became the guitar guy.
Yeah,
much.
that like I just went with it. So that was like my.
And he has the voice of an angel too. It's not fair.
So
really
I've been called the songbird of my generation.
Yes, yeah.
Took on the form of Fergie and Jesus.
Jeez, I can't even look at you right now.
Yeah. Anyway, so
he's blushing over
Adam's
there. He's blushing.
No. But that was like my creative expression until I found video, and then I just and I still do both. I mean, I literally do both as my job, as my career is video and music.
That's
awesome. But yeah, so growing up, no, not really, not really artistic. But I just
that was me too. Like, I not an artistic bone in my body. It's kind of the opposite, I guess. Like, I only played sports. Like, that was it. I was fortunate enough to have a really honest mom, and she was like, "Man, you are trash. If you want to be good, at this, you better tighten up and only do this for a little while." So I got really I think addictive personality runs in my family. It absolutely does. So that's what I kind of latched onto was athletic stuff. And I always was like, oh, not artistic. I play ball, right? Because you can't do both.
Yeah.
If Sam Hunt can play guitar and country music and play quarterback at UAB,
it's not fair.
then I can do stuff,
yeah.
right? But no, I can dance. That's about the only musical thing in my life. Can't play an instrument. I tried to learn guitar, and as soon as my fingers started hurting, I was like, oh man, there's no what this isn't for me. But that stuff, I found it, and it was the only things that ever made me feel artistic, right? Because you have things you want to claim as artistic, oh, my game is art. It's not. You play ball. But it was it was the only artistic expression I'd ever had that was outside of athletics or anything like that. That wasn't me drawing on my spat tape. So it was cool.
It's funny that you say that because for me, I think I really wish for anybody that they find something that's artistic that they enjoy, that they feel like they're good at. Because for me, I started playing drums when I was in 10th grade, and that's my form of art. People, I don't really talk about it very much on social media. So I posted a video a couple days ago of me playing, because I play drums for my church every I play for 2 weeks, and then I'm off for 4 weeks because there's 3 drummers.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and then so Jean he leads worship as well. But for me, I started drumming before I had lost any of my weight, so it became it was my identity for a long time. For a long time, my identity was I am the fat drummer.
Funny drummer.
Fat funny drummer was my identity, right? And I remember I used to play. I had a couple bands that I was in, and we'd play shows. And I remember one show. It was the best compliment I ever got from playing drums. Someone, one of the sound guys, came up to me, and he was like, "Hey man, you're like a white Questlove." And Questlove is the drummer of the Roots. One of my.
I know Questlove.
Yeah,
that's
right.
A good one.
And I was just dang man, I am, aren't I? But the whole reason of that story was having that outlet gave me so much confidence, especially being in high school, being the really, really overweight guy, the fact that I had that, honestly, I couldn't put a price on how valuable that was for me, and just how thankful I am that I had that outlet before I started losing weight, and I was able to for me, the fact that fitness honestly is one of my outlets, it doesn't make any sense to me, because I played flag football growing up. And I loved it, right? Because we couldn't afford Pop Warner or anything like that. So, and I honestly
didn't even have that. We didn't even have
You didn't have it? Yeah. So we had it here, but we couldn't afford it, and I was actually over the weight limit, like, as a kid to play, because it was like 200 pounds, and I was already like 230, I think, when I looked. And then we were like kind of talking to people like, okay, if you lose 30 pounds, we'll help pay for it. And I was like, nah, I'm good.
Nah, man, not yet, bro.
Yeah.
Not yet.
So I never played.
But
I never played tackle, and then when I was playing flag, like, I ended up, like, it doesn't make any sense. I got MVP 2 times, and I was the center, and I was a lineman. Like, I got MVP on my team 2 times because, like, I was like,
you were the cause.
yeah, oh, dude, I loved it, right? So I would, like, all right, we're gonna do this. Like, I was like trying to, like, rally up the team. Like, I loved football. I still enjoy watching it, not as much as I did then. But then I went into high school, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try out for the football team, right? I went to the first practice. So this is a whole story about me. I'm sorry, but like the first practice, they do this thing where, like, the linemen, you do a lap, right? It's 400 meter. You do a lap, and the linemen and all the bigger dudes start in the front, and then, like, all of, like, the smaller players are behind you, basically to help, like, motivate you to run the lap.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even run half of a lap at that point. So I'm, like, trying to run, and then I'm walking, and then everyone's running by me. Most people are like, come on, bro, you got it. You can do it. But then there's some people that are just, like, kind of being mean, you know. And then we do some drills outside, and, like, that was fine, whatever. That was fun. That was stuff that I had done in flag. But then we went into the weight room. I had never touched a barbell in my life, right? So we go to the squat rack. It's me and, like, all the linemen, and I was the biggest kid there. And one of the captain of the linemen or whatever, he was like, all right, get under the bar. It was like 135 on the bar. Had never put a barbell on my back.
What?
So, like, the bar is, like, sitting on the back of my neck.
On the bone.
Yeah, on the bone.
Right?
And, like, I'm like,
First-timer.
right when I put it there, I'm like, ow, right? Like, this, it was, like, genuinely, like, this doesn't feel right. This hurts. So I, like, walk it out of the rack, and I'm just like, I don't even squat it. I'm like, this hurts. I can't do this, right? And then I rack it. And then the head dude or whatever, he was like, man, you're the biggest guy here, and you can't even squat that. Like, why are you even here? Like, what's the point of having you on the team?
Oh, wow.
I remember I was like, I'm a very like emotional guy, but I don't show it, right? So, like, I feel things, and I was just like, dang. So then I ended up, like, going up to the coaches and be like, hey, my mom needs my help at home, so I got to go. Like,
she said this ain't for me. My mama said.
So then I went, and
That's
I never tried out for football again. That's, like, one of my biggest, like, regrets. But at the same time, it's like, if I did play football, I might not be where I am now. So it worked out, but I don't know why I told that story. I'm sorry. It just really went off.
No, dude, that's what's hilarious. Like, so other end of the spectrum, like, was the opposite. So I was, like, the skinniest kid, like, and I was a quarterback whole life. And, you know, I was the rah-rah guy too for the team, but, like, my mom would not allow me to quit once. She'd have lost her mind.
Mm-hmm.
And my coach drove my bus, so I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, I tried to skip practice. He's like, no, you're staying on the bus. But that was, like, I just craved to gain weight so much in high school, and I could not. And, but I was always like, and that was, like, the only trouble I ever got into high school was kind of, like, taking up for folks, because I wanted everybody to have that experience. And that's what's funny is, like, I thought my whole life I'd be coaching football my whole life. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I loved kids. Every summer I did the YMCA summer camp, loved on kids. Me and my best friends just kind of ran that show. And, you know, if you ask me, even, you know, I get Facebook notifications now, the memories, boy, they'll get you in your feels every day. But, so good every day. But it's like college football pictures now when we're on the back end. And I'm like, dude, I taught for a year and that was it. And if you asked me at any point in those pictures, I was like, yeah, dude, I'll be an old fat coach like Bill Belichick and these high school kids to death. Mm-hmm. And that's what's funny is, like, you know, I wish I would have quit? No, but, like, you wouldn't be where you're at. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't be doing what I've had, the opportunities I've had, man. It's big picture. Like, it's wild how, you know, you can look back, and I tell everybody now, like, man, like, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, like, God's hands on stuff and he works. Mm-hmm. And you can look back, definitely see it if you want to look. But
yeah, absolutely.
And there's, like, specific instances where I can see, like, how I even got into, like, coaching CrossFit. And it's so yeah, man, it's not, you were supposed to quit that. Like, it's not now you're just the super jack drummer at church.
Yeah. The loudest drummer.
Yeah, I hit very hard.
The little box can't contain.
Yeah. He's just
Oh,
like
the guy at our church.
gorilla.
The guy at our church goes. He looks like Monster on the Muppets.
Yeah.
Losing, and he loses 2 sticks every day, but same time, like both of them will go and he gets them right back out. Like, yeah,
I'm
I don't know
lucky.
if he's got to do it on purpose. It's happened more than once.
I haven't done that yet, playing worship, and it's one of my biggest fears because I've had it happen. I was playing a show with my first band. I mean, there was barely anyone there. I lost the stick, and I didn't bring any extras. So for half of a song, I was playing just with one stick.
Oh,
1 second.
Is that me or you?
It's John.
I still see the press button to activate movie shooting. You must be on a Canon.
I was.
I told
on
him
a
not to
Canon.
use it too. There you go. That's fine.
Now we're on it. Now we're on the.
We're just on the
The
webcam.
old
I told him not to use the
webcam.
Canon.
No, you didn't.
It's all good.
Yes,
No,
I
dude,
did. I said
shoot
it's gonna.
Sony.
I was like, it's gonna clip.
Yeah.
It's gonna clip. He's like, no,
Yeah.
it's not because I'm not recording. I was like, whatever.
I tell you when that bit me in the butt the first time. So 24, the first year I did like tried to be competitive. I lie. Second year I was not. The first year I tried real bad, but I used a Canon camera to shoot that open workout, and it was the one you had to turn in, and it clipped it in half. And they were like, don't edit. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Clip them together, send it in. Yeah,
Did they
it's,
notice?
Dude, I tell you what, that year, I know people that sent, so the workout started with 50 or 60 cal row, 50 toes bar, 40 wall balls. I know people that sent in a video that had only 5 wall balls in it. They got accepted that year.
Oh my gosh.
And that, I'm sure that process is way more thorough and like actually a thing now, but it was not then because people got away with murder. And they were good athletes. I've watched them do the workout, but it was just like, you didn't have to video anything then. Potato phone, real.
Yeah.
The video stuff is wild now. This year they've been way more like it seems like they've been looking at things for a lot longer. Like before it would be like they would release the workouts would end on what was it, Monday when you could turn in, and then Wednesday was when like the final reviews were over.
2 weeks now, right?
Yeah, it's like a long time, and then they're finally being like, okay, these are the real winners, these are the penalties, and the penalties are like so small. Like Tia got one for like being just hunched over a little bit on one of the workouts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I think it's good.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's good. I mean, it's yeah. If it's a straight shot to the games now, it
has to be, right?
Right.
100%.
And so that's always been my thing. Like I love the open. Like it's in an affiliate as an athlete. Like who doesn't like home field advantage, right? So you're gonna get to keep that. And they do like they ask for videos now every week, which is awesome because like I didn't know that till I'm never gonna get asked for a video in the open anymore. But like Brooke, that's on our team, and Chandler, they get asked every week, and both of them qualified Indy. And I didn't know they were doing that. But then when they hand down they're smashing people, right?
Yeah.
And it's like slick common knowledge that some people cheat in the open. I don't know anybody specifically. It's just a million people will tell you that, which is absurd to me because like nothing in the open is that crazy. And like you don't win money. Like
Yeah.
there are 4 or 5 money doing this, dude. Like it means that much to you to cheat. But yeah, and I dig it, right? So and my thing's always been like if you move well, you don't have to worry about it. And, they'll talk to you about threshold stuff. And I agree with that, right? Like I should push the limit of my technique and intensity and all that stuff. And like, there should be some of the line blurred, not on a danger spot, but just, intensity, whatever. I get it. But if you squat on your toes and you can't get below parallel, like have a compensation, not a capacity, and you can't go to the game. Sorry. And they're doing that immediately now. They're not waiting until the last workout. So I dig that. So you don't have time to redo it or your shot in the dark. So, and I like all the changes, man. People like last year came to me were like, "Oh, don't you love regionals?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I love regionals, but I'll tell you what I don't like." And that's when a guy comes in the affiliate and he's like Uncle Rico, which I'm an Uncle Rico, so I can relate. Oh, the pigskin.
Can throw it over those mountains over there.
But they having that conversation with a guy who's got 2 kids and a wife and is a lawyer, and you don't have 4 hours to dedicate to training full time like most of these athletes that live at home or own a gym or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, man. Like in the heart of this stuff and what I fell in love with it, like, yeah, did it take a competitive avenue for me, like from football to this? Yeah. But I love it because like when my daughter, like, especially now, we're gonna have a daughter in February.
Congrats, by the way.
Thanks, dude. My wife's a superhero. Like she went to Ireland. She's in fellowship right now. The only place she's pregnant's in her belly, and like it's the most normal thing ever. I think I've heard her throw up once. So either she's like the best ninja ever, or she's a trooper. But I fell in love with it because it was like it sets you up for those things, man. Like you're gonna be able to wipe your own butt your whole life. You're gonna like not be a burden to your kids. And like I've had people in my family, like my grandmother, bedridden lady. It was our village thing to take care of her, right? And which is awesome to have that available to you. But like nobody wants to be that. Like I watched this lady just be that, and it wasn't any fault of her own. She just was sick, and it's really hard to ramp that back up once you get to a certain spot. And so that was the conversation you were having with people. Was like, man, like what's the goal here? Really? Like you're going to dig a big hole trying to get to regionals for what? Like you do awesome, but like they were trying to go like skip foundational stuff. And I think it was like hard for people to wrap their brain around like the people that are just the peak expression of this stuff move so well and have such an attention to detail on things that aren't even in the gym. Like that's a given. They move well, they take care of themselves, they warm up, they cool down, they stretch. But like you don't know that they go home and sleep like a vampire, darkest, coldest room after they ate organic, whatever, this, that, and other. Like, and you're never going to understand. Like you'll never get the truth out of any of them as to what they do. Like Rich is not just eating chocolate milk and waffles. Like, I'm sorry. And I know the guy, love him. He's the nicest person. But like, and why would he? Like Bill Belichick's not giving out the playbook, you know? So I love when they made changes, and it makes it a way easier conversation. Like, well, cool, man, go to Italy, spend your money, 50 sanctionals if you want to go do it.
Yeah.
Cool. We're doing these affiliate classes, bud, and we're going like, it's gonna be about the health and wellness. So they're aggressive about it now. I went and re-upped my L1, and Steve Haydock did it, who I had never met before. And if anybody's ever taken my class or talked to me about it, will tell you that like aggressive is an accurate word. Just because like I love the game, right? And you get people that come in and do one-on-ones. They're like, oh man, well, I heard you get hurt in CrossFit, this, that, and other. I was like, oh, dude, that's 100% true. Like depends on where you go, right? This place, here's how we do it. Here's what we're about. But you can't go to every steakhouse and get a good steak, so I can't speak for everybody. And it's the gift and curse of it. You can go to the L1 and pay your $1,000, and that be your blank coloring book. But if you don't dive in to make a pretty picture and get your depth of knowledge up and take care of people with what they're kind of trusting you to take care of them with, and you're making a bad name. And I went and got the L1, and bro, he put it so aggressive. It was beautiful. Because the dream used to be like, oh, get on seminar staff, get that red shirt. And I went to the L1, and honestly, the first time it was very sugar coated, and then I got like in an affiliate, and like they don't tell you how to get like old Susie upside down, or stuff that like lowish hanging fruit, like double unders, like, oh, well, you're going to spend this emotional battle trying to figure out how to dance that you couldn't do for 30 years. But here it comes. And I saw it for something it wasn't, right. It's not the list to check off. It's a nudge down the hill. Right. And so you can grab the tree and stay where you got nudged, or you can run down the hill full speed and kind of get into the depth of knowledge and learn how to take care of people and yourself and kind of water the seed. But, boy, that health and wellness initiative is aggressive, and I don't agree with the presentation all the time, but I'm with like all the stuff they're putting out now, and mostly because my wife's a physician, and boy, some of those graphics are aggressive. They are, dude. The one they put out at the games last year was like, oh my! It was like a bunch of dudes on a golf course and like nurses grabbing them, and like it was a real. Which I'm with the shock and all. I understand that's what this has always been like. Keep your lat pull down machine. We're doing Fran ripping hands. Like, right? Like we're throwing drinks in people's faces. I get it, but I'm with all of it, and it's I was really impressed with the verbiage and package, and kind of you can tell there's a shift. It's still the heart of what they do, but they are very about like they'll draw that health and wellness, or sickness wellness thing, fitness. He circled fitness, and he was like, everybody's so focused on this now, right? That conversation. Oh, I got to get to here, this, that, and other. I need to do 16 pieces. He was like, you're so focused on this fitness that you're digging yourself back to sickness.
Yeah.
And, dude, it was the most, and then, he's an English guy, so everything automatically sounds more articulate.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just poetry. But it was cool, man. It was refreshing. And, I haven't had another job since, right? Like I've been in affiliates, several of them. And I got a huge binder of best practices and worst practices that I have not liked. but it's just my favorite place, and the way that they don't mix words about it now is super refreshing and like encouraging to keep the ball rolling for me, for sure, as a coach.
So you got there's two things I want to talk about from what you just said, and we'll start with the most recent, and then we'll work backwards. Most recent is you've heard about the court case that just happened with the lawsuit with what's the company?
In something or other.
The NASCM, the National Strength and Conditioning. Yeah, letters are hard.
Yeah.
Well, I'm dyslexic, so
many letters together are rough. But just kind of talking about the blatant, purposeful reports and inaccuracy of saying that CrossFit is what is it? You want to?
It says major victory for CrossFit. Judge orders terminating and massive monetary sanctions against the NSCA. And then it says. Judge Janice Samaritio ordered terminating sanctions against the National Strength and Conditioning Association in the case of CrossFit Inc. versus NSCA. With this ruling, the court ordered the NSCA to pay CrossFit basically $4 million as a sanction, and then $4 million, and then terminated the case in CrossFit's favor. The court also awarded numerous sanctions that conclude the NSCA's corrupt practices harmed CrossFit while benefiting the NSCA in the military, U.S., and international communities. And there's like a huge, if anyone wants to read, it's on CrossFit Training because they're back on Instagram. But I was reading a comment, and someone said like, when they were in college, they had to go to classes or like these sermons, like sermons, these seminars that were ran by that company, and they said like if you brought up CrossFit at all, they would like just they would basically make you feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
So I think that's I put it on my story, and I was like, this is a big deal for CrossFit. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and dude, their legal team are a bunch of dogs, right? Like,
yeah.
So, and there are way more things going on than that, and don't ask me specifics, but they'll tell you and not dive in. But like and he's so aggressive about it now, bro. Like, did you see Brian Stites, the guy that got his affiliate revoked? Mm-hmm. So I know Brian, right? Like, so I would get on, him and his buddy that owned his gym would get on there and do like Devil's Advocate Friday, like why'd they program this? And I would come in like the CrossFit Devil's Advocate and be like, well, if we're talking about blah blah blah, but they play no games about like holding that baby, right? Mm-hmm. For just lack of a better term. Like if you hold it, like you help pull the wagon, or like you're getting pushed off the cliff. Mm-hmm. And, so them going after people like that, like, man, it's still a weird thing to people, right? Like CrossFit's still a new methodology. And it's the insane part to me is it's very objective and factual, and it's very little crazy stuff in it. Like the crazy parts people see are like the same YouTube and Google fires I have to put out when I have a one-on-one with somebody, right? Yeah. And like I said, they're true. Depends on where you go. Mm-hmm. And that's what's so cool about people like Logan Gelbrick, like Deuce Gym. It's out there in Hermosa Beach. They have a few locations. But they, their things hold the standard. And if you've ever been out there or spoken with the cat about it, or anybody, like you've met Lacey Fema, who works with Romwad sometimes at events. So Lacey's on staff with them, and just killers. Like, not, we're going to have fun and do all this stuff, but like we're about the business. And that's how they are about CrossFit now, protecting that. Because like the NSCA stuff, like it's a false advertisement kind of thing, like trying to put out a hot fire that's coming in hot. But, how many years of data and stuff from like 1906 does the NSCA have, right? Like, it's the same reason that I used to get involved with people or in arguments, like good spirited arguments with people that are exercise science guys that were so boxed in by strength conditioning books from way back, right? Like that Arnold had on Pump and Iron. And it's not wrong, right? Like it's what you had, and this thing's so new and so, and I'm like a super biased, obviously, because I've never had another job, but it's still new. It's still a baby. The data is still new, but I remember my favorite thing to send people when they would have this argument with me was that, I think it was that Pepperdine. It used to be in the CrossFit Journal, and like, boy, that the first 2-3 years I coached, like I read everything they put out. And we'll still get on there. It's a lot sexier now on the internet. But they went to Pepperdine, had just cats that were running the exercise science and physiology and all that stuff department, and they put a metabolic machine on Julie Fouché and had her do Fran. these people had never done CrossFit. They just looked at the data immediately when it came off the screen and read it to the people in the crowd, right? And it wasn't a packed house. It was just people that were interested in some CrossFit people. Like, I think Savon was there. That's who actually shot it. And Coach Glassman was there. But it's just there's no argument over data, right? And it's just the landslide the NSCA has, like, you know, they got a big stack, which is cool. Like, you've been in the game for a while, and this new thing's coming up, and there's the old gray-headed guy who comes in. He's very articulate and aggressive in the defense, and just happens to have a little change to throw around. And like now, and like you got the sack to go after like Coke and stuff like that. Like, nobody's safe, and you know, and it's beautiful to watch. And you know, I feel bad for those cats that get in arguments with them, because if you've ever been and seen, I mean, a red shirt, even just a red shirt person that's not a flow master, field questions about like people that kind of ask wild questions at L1, they're the best offenders, right? That's why they got the shirt. And nobody does it better than that fella. And it's the most articulate, just data driven. He dares you to ask him crazy stuff, but it's because of stuff like this, right? Like, because it's very factual. And then if it makes enough sense to that judge, probably never done CrossFit in their life, but it's a factual thing that you got $4 million awarded, and they get on you for all this false advertising stuff. Like, and then like at the heart of it, man, like the methodology for the stuff we do, you know, I don't know. I've never had more fun working out. I've never seen more people across just a broad spectrum of people, like where you're from, what you do, what you're shaped like, what color you are, whatever, have more fun doing the things we do, and under the right like leadership, so coaches and stuff like that, just move the needle in the right direction across the board, right? Like, we're doing physical, emotional, just building stuff across the board, and it's cool to see them go after people that say otherwise about it.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then let's start set 2. So the second one is, you've got like an evident, obvious, definite love for coaching. You can see it, like you're passionate about it, and it's really cool to hear you talk about. You said you did sports in high school, football. Like, what was the transition from like athlete to coach? Like, how did that happen? What did that look like? What was the reason behind it?
Oh, well, quick story of the whole thing. I'm real good at Uncle Rico's story. Yeah. So I was trashing. Dude, I was trash in high school, right? Like the skinniest kid. Like this was like my leg. Real little fella, big attitude,
big heart.
And I worked. I was a team guy, right? Like, I was a team guy. I wanted everybody to succeed. Like, I wanted us to do it as a group. And I had a really good running back. Our school was trash, first of all. Like, a 2-win season was great, but he had a good guy for our team. And my senior year, he went and tried out, and I had a truck. So I was like, dude, I'll drive you and get out of school, whatever. There's a little junior college in Mississippi that you can actually see him on that Netflix thing, just getting crushed by that school on the what's the name of that thing? The Netflix show about Mississippi JUCOs.
I don't know.
I can't remember. It's on there.
Yeah, it's
so good, so good. But tried out. The guy, like, he was like, "Oh yeah, man, is anybody else recruiting you?" And I laughed at him, because I had a little gun on me, and like, I think I ran a 5.2 40, just real runner, trash. And he was like, "Yeah, is anybody else recruiting you?" And I laughed. He was like, "What do you think about signing here?" I was like, "Man, you come see me at school Monday." So I signed there, red shirt. I spent 4 years going from like 170 pounds to 250. Nice. Ended up going to school in the Delta at Delta State. Just had an awesome time. It was the first good team I'd ever been on. Never really had a reason to celebrate until then. We ended up losing our championship, and, you know, got a ring or two, and just had fun, man. You get like that classic kind of band of brothers story. And I ended up playing like tight end, and I found CrossFit the summer before my senior year, and I played the best I'd ever played. Never came off the field, never got tired in football.
What year was that when you found CrossFit?
It was 2012 was the last season. Yeah. My first year doing the Open was 2013. A girl I was dating at the time, she played basketball at the school I played football at, and her whole family went to CrossFit. Mike McElroy, who used to be on Barbell Shrugs, owned a gym in Flow. Yeah, great guy. He owned a gym, CrossFit 2717. Went there, and I, you know, credit him a lot for my kind of philosophy on moving well and taking care of yourself, because he opposite end of the spectrum as far as like loud personality, like very quiet cat, just really deliberate with words and very few. And he wanted you to move well, and I just told him it was stupid. And her whole family was there. I think the first day I went, we did 21, 15, 9, deadlift, 315, 30-inch box jump. I killed everybody.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, see you idiots later. I'm going to the Y. And I did. And I came back the next day. We did Helen, and her 52-year-old dad crushed me. Tim Bell destroyed me. But so I piqued my interest. I did it all summer. I came in. I'd never gotten any kind of postseason like awards or anything. I think I got all region conference, whatever that year. Just I was not any better. I just never got tired. And so piqued that. I thought I was still going to coach football and like CrossFit would be my thing to play around with. And Mike ended up, and I don't know if I ever told him this. That summer he asked me to come help him with a kids camp. And it was like a fitness thing, right? You go to a school and you're trying to stir up whatever. And I did a lot of the talking just because he's not a rah-rah guy and I'm a psycho. John David knows. But it's so bad. I think it's worse because I shave now too. But, it's just less scary. But
yeah, definitely.
It was a big deal to me, man. And he thought enough of me to let me come in there and help him. And then I taught for a year. I was never really like that super athletic. I just worked really hard, right? So loved the off season, loved being on a team. And CrossFit's the sport of the off season with just way more cooler tricks. And that was not for me. And talking about how God's hands on stuff, man. I was in Madison, Mississippi at a little Greek restaurant. I'll never forget it. I still had like two-poo shin sleeves on, like just left the gym, still sweaty. And just, classic guy asked me, "Oh, you guys do CrossFit? Oh, let me talk your ear off, sir."
Yep.
That guy owned a Globo gym 2 hours north. And he was like, "Oh man, were you interested in like moving and coaching? We're going to open an affiliate." I was like, "Absolutely. I ain't married. Run it." And so I moved. Ended up being that he paid for my cert, which was cool. So, working. Never intended to open an affiliate, really. He just wanted somebody to go manage this little podunk Globo gym and fold towels and read CrossFit journals. That's what I did all day. But I did that for a year, 6 months, waiting on him. And then in Jackson, where I'm from, a guy named Chris Allen ran Mississippi CrossFit. It's a huge gym, square footage wise. It's attached to a little baseball facility, so didn't really need to make that much money. So kind of like just serendipitous that I emailed the lady. I was like, "Hey, do you guys have a coaching position? I'm looking to move home." Chris had left, and him and his buddy Hunter, who was my wife's training partner at the time, she wasn't my wife then. She was just a lady I creeped on.
That's how it all starts.
Oh, it gets better. But I emailed Courtney. I can't remember her last name. I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm super interested in moving home." That was just like perfect time. And I moved home. My interview was coaching her 12 o'clock class. I had never coached a CrossFit class in my life. Ooh. She said, "Can you move home and start Monday?" I said, "I'll be here tomorrow." Yeah. So, we had a few people on staff. I coached a lot, and I really messed it up. And I think that's why I have such a passion for it now, is because I've done it so wrong, like from every aspect. Like I was mean to people, man. Like, don't be late to my class. I'm just taking it really personal. Don't care that you have a life outside of this and kids, whatever. Don't disrespect me, blah, blah, blah. Which grand scheme, man, if people are paying your membership and thinking enough of what you do and who you are to come hang out with you for an hour, show some grace, right? So a lot of personal growth. In those few years, I got to know some of my best friends. Vic, John David, met him in Hawaii. Great dude. Like my brother, Caleb Gressett. He's in chiropractor school in Daytona, Florida. My wife was at that gym. I had just broken up with a girlfriend, asked this lady out 5 times, told me no. And now she's knocked up now. She used to be and she is still really good if she wasn't knocked up. She went to regionals in 2013. I think I got 140th in the open.
Dang.
Oh, if you saw Instagram then, when it's like hashtag see you at regionals, and I'm just, what a muscle up. But she went, and I was like, "Hey, if you need anything, like I got grips in my bag you can have, or little support." And she thought I was a creep.
I'll bring you some pretzels.
Oh yeah, girl, just tell me what you need. Let me breathe the same air you're in. And she went and did really well. I think she got top 10 that year. She's a psycho, very skilled lady. I keep coaching. We progressed. We get married. I moved to Lexington with her, and that is kind of where our stuff, or my career, like I guess athletically and coaching, I had a lot of time under my belt, and through a lot of like research and like being honest with myself, like that 10,000 hours thing is trash. You practice wrong for 10,000 hours, you get nothing. Yeah. So through some kind of tough, hard truths being shared with me, and being fortunate enough to come in contact with people like Ryan Schultz with Ron Wad, and through him like Logan Gelbrick at Deuce, and my experience at CrossFit Maximus in Lexington, whether it was peaks and valleys, it was valuable. I got a chance to work with the boys at Misfit, which was a huge growth opportunity. I'd never done anything online before that, so a lot of growth there. Definitely some growth there, and I finished coaches prep with Logan Gelbrick. And if anybody's ever trying to develop coaches and you have no idea what you're doing, by God, sign up for that. It'll change you and the lens you view things through, and how you speak to people, and how you develop your coaches and what you hold them to. And it did a lot for me. And so it got to where I left Maximus and went to a place called Derby City CrossFit in Louisville. And that to me, like coaching wise, was just the biggest filling of the cup spot that I'd ever been. I went from a spot to where we had kind of a disconnected owner to a guy who's just there all day. I drove an hour to work and an hour back, if that tells you anything. And I'm not about that. I'm about efficiency.
Uh-huh.
But I thought so much of this guy and the system they had and how he treated people, more or less. Because you can tell me till you're blue in the face, whatever, but how you treat folks tells me a lot more. No matter what. And his name's Slater Co. And our other buddy Shark, Andrew Middle. My man just got married, and I missed it. I'm a terrible friend. Love you, Sharky. But it's the only partnership in a gym I've ever seen work well. B, Slater is a tall, bald angel. The group of people they have there it's a big spectrum, and he gives these people freedom to be who they are under this roof, and do things the way they want to do them within the confines of the structure that I ended up. And I say I laid out, man, I did very little. I was fortunate to be in the right place, right time, and put this awkward pressure, I guess, on people to kind of level it up. I went there, I think for 2 weeks I coached and let people evaluate me. And then we got to where the language we spoke, and I straight jacked this from Logan's coaches prep, is we spoke a language of kind of negative feedback, right? Like hard truth. And what it did for those people was that you didn't hear it as a personal attack. You heard it as the watering of a seed. And hey man, we're on a team. It's always an all-star team, and you're always on tryout. So, make your shots. And, nobody was ever at risk of getting fired. But it would expose you if you weren't willing to hold the standard. Didn't they steal their term? It's in gold leaf at their gym. Mm-hmm. But that spot, man. And I love coaching, but I've always had a heart for people. And that's why I wanted to coach football, because I thought it was just kids, but it was people in general. And like in high school, I had a real stereotypical experience. Like I was a quarterback, played football, like whatever that sounds like. It's exactly that. But I also just, my brother's the complete opposite. I'm in his house right now. Cat's a med school student. He's been a nurse for 4 years, complete opposite end of the athletic spectrum. And so we were always cool. We're a lot closer now, I feel like, as adults than we were then, but nobody's going to mess with it.
It's the same with us, actually.
Yeah, dude. And I've just never been cool with, like, I don't know. I think just the language we spoke at my house, just because, like you were talking about, you guys couldn't afford Pop Warner. Like my mom cut hair and had 3 kids. Mm-hmm. And did it by herself, and just our language and currency was love. And like, my mom, still married to Jesus, mm-hmm. always.
Yeah.
And, aggressive with it, which is great. But I just, being able to see how she was growing up, and then in high school, like, you just don't be mean to people, man. It's not hard. It doesn't cost you anything. So I would, you're not going to sit by yourself at lunch or anything like that. And that kind of transition snowballed into, I wanted people to feel the same kind of love you get to feel, like, if I said, hey, the stereotypical experience, like, why can't you? And there's no better spot than you came here, you met with me. Like, and most of the time when I do one-on-ones at a gym, you want to have a consultation for CrossFit, we don't even do fitness. Like, I'm not going to take you through baseline. I'm going to see who you are. We're going to talk about the stuff we do and, like, what the experience is like from more than just a physical standpoint. Because, like, 9 out of 10 people, man, have never experienced the kind of love you get to experience in an affiliate. Mm-hmm. And, I tell people all the time, and I've only talked to one other person that mentioned it like this, is that, like, it is like if you've ever felt like something that had nothing to do with church was like just the most like insane act of worship you've ever done. And like, that's what it feels like to me in the gym. And I've experienced that athletically, like, just getting to love on people, and in the gym, just every day, dude, when you get to meet people who like, you know, I was a big guy in high school. Like, people picked on me in high school. I used to have this problem or this, that, and the other, but like now we're all in the same room. We can rage to whatever version of that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like, it's been a huge growth thing for me, like emotional intelligence. And because I have not always been like, and I'm still not that great at packaging things. I'm probably a little aggressive with verbiage, but it's getting better. And like, it's always from a place of love. And, you know, that was what it did for me. It was like, I know who I am because of that lady in there, and because of how God works through her and me. And so if that's the light I get to shine on people, like, and 2 years ago we were in Hawaii, like that's why I got like that tattoo, like holding a candle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I talked to the kids after dodgeball. You got to play dodgeball this year, so we talked to the kids after that. Something me and my wife got to share. It was an awesome experience for us. She didn't get to go this year, but it was just, that's what it felt like to me, right? Like, and if that was how people saw, you know, whatever they wanted to see, whatever you wanted to call it for this time, I know what you'll call it in the end. You're gonna figure it out whether you want to or not. Like, God works. Mm-hmm. And it was through that lady to me. And then the way I get to do it is through, whether it's like getting to come in contact with people through competing or coaching, you know, that's what it's been for me. And like I said, like, I thought I'd be a fat dude coaching football, doing X's and O's on a whiteboard, but now I just get to make real pretty whiteboards with good handwriting and do reps and sets and pep talks at the beginning and really good jokes in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's just safe space, man. That's my favorite thing. And it's I've just never had more fun doing fitness and getting to love on people. And I feel like everybody has buckets, and it really fills all the buckets for me. And I get to feel like I'm getting closer to stuff I want to be close to, and lifting people up and filling their cups up too. And it's I've never felt like I've worked. Like, even days where I coach 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. like, yeah, I'm tired, but like, dude, it's I'm tired because like it's this emotional high all day. And like, even when it's not, like, you get to be around for a low for somebody when maybe they've never had that. So, you got no Bulls on?
I do.
No. Shaking his head and
I've never put one on my foot. So,
well, I mean, to make it even worse, he just got it today.
Yeah.
And he's not even working out.
Hey.
Looks like you stepped in the Easter Bunny's throwaway.
I'm impatient. But with what you were saying, and I've been lucky enough to actually see it, right? Because how me and Dex met, we were in Hawaii with Ram Wad, super freaking awesome, like very cool, with the Kala Foundation. I did a podcast with the CEO of the foundation, if you guys are curious about that. But we were able to meet, and I obviously met him through I actually didn't know who you were at first, because the last thing I had seen was when you had your beard and your hair. Yeah. And I was like, who's this guy with the accent? Like, we met at a Costco. You guys picked us up from the airport, and then we went to Costco.
Oh, we scooped you and Craig.
Yeah. We went to Costco and got a bunch of food, but while we were there for the whole week, Dex was he was up almost every day earlier than everyone else. And the reason he was up was because he was going to coach classes at the gym. And that's like one of the things they do is like they have, you know, like celebrity coaches or whatever, you know, coaches that are not from Hawaii coming in.
Yeah, celebrity coach Dex.
But like coming in and the thing is that we would all be in the hotel room, and it's like 11 p.m., 10 p.m., Dex has to be up at, 5 a.m., even earlier than that, right?
Oh, dude, me and Vic went to Keikaha at 5 a.m. one morning, and it's a drive, right? So there's always traffic there. Mm-hmm. I know there's 6 people on the island, but we, and so we weren't doing the kids' classes, right? Like, we would be around for that, but we were going to do their regular affiliate classes and kind of take some pressure off, like Juan and Tyler, and trying to help them out, and all the coaches, but It's like the Wild Wild West, like, because it's also new still over there. And those people, man, like, they just, you know, you over here, people you're kind of desensitized to it. Like, it's not new to a lot of people, right? And over there, man, they're just perky ear. And then you get people like that day, I think we had to coach gymnastics in front of Duke, who is like, Duke Van Vliet is that dude for gymnastics. So awesome, dude. But it was cool. Yeah, it's And I went early to do some of that stuff, man, and kind of help out more. And it is an experience for sure.
Well, and like what I was saying is, you had to be up that early, but it was never, you were never complaining about it. You were always like, yeah, man, I'm gonna be up in 4 hours or whatever. And I would be like, I'm not gonna be up in 4 hours. So
Dude,
it's just,
it was wild. Like you're in Hawaii doing stuff, right? Like, but it's work, man. It's and then you get to kind of pull the curtain back on what those people do, and you kind of appreciate sacrifice more. And that's the cool thing, man. Is like I love kids, but that stuff's here too. And the stuff they do is like, it's insane. And once you get to see like how they live and stuff, I think Juan posted something the other day. It was like Mickey Mouse at Disneyland, and it was like visiting Hawaii and living in Hawaii. It's hilarious. Man, those people are the feet on the ground for sure.
And with the coaching, like you were saying, like it's cool to be able to like coach the kids, and like, you get to see what you're doing and like changing their lives, and like especially like when you're in Hawaii and like, oh, these kids don't have much, and like you can really see the help that you're putting in. But like, and I think you're able to see this. You can have that same impact with someone that's 40 years old, and like you can.
Yeah,
Especially, it's almost even more profound for them because they've lived 30 years of their life thinking, I can't do this, X, Y, Z. And then you're like, you can. It's going to take some work, but like we can work on it. That's why I think coaching is so like beautiful, and like that's why people like when they think of their coaches, if it's a good coach, like they have so much respect for them because they show them what they're capable of. And like that's why I think like what you do is so cool, is because you make someone believe in themselves. And like as cheesy and Disney as it might sound, like that's so valuable, like in someone's life. And it's like you can't pay for that, that feeling that someone gets.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate that, man.
And like I'm not at all a coach, right? Like this was a couple days ago. We're doing like a gymnastics challenge at my gym right now, where people are doing like different movements, like trying to get things right. And I was working on ring muscle ups, and then there's this lady that she's been able to do like kipping pull-ups for a while, but she can't string them, right? So she was like trying to work on it, and I'm not a coach, so maybe I shouldn't have said anything, but I was like, I noticed something that I was like, maybe this could help, right? And I was like, when you get up to the top, like think about pushing away from the bar or whatever, right? Just like a very simple cue. And then she did it, and she was able to string him, and she was like, oh my gosh, like it was like this huge thing when like we know it's just stringing some pull-ups. It's not this crazy thing, but it's like I can do it. Like she believes, and she's like, she's close. She might be 40 something years old, but like that like feeling that she had, like, oh, I could actually do it. And it's like, that's like a drug, man. That's like a drug.
Dude, and where else do you get to experience that though? Like that's, and it's so far few and in between as an adult, right? Like that you have time or care to, or whatever, to learn a new skill or anything like that. And no, you did right, dude. Like, and like simple and like compelling language, like and I've, again, steal all this stuff from Logan, way more articulate than me. But that's all it is. Like anybody can sound like a nerd and read textbook language, but if you can break stuff down and like I could teach a monkey to do it, then like you have it. And the best coaches start out as athletes that didn't think they'd ever be a coach. Like, and then you know what you heard that made it click for you, and you'll run that list forever. Yeah. And that's all it is. Yeah, that's it. You'll run that in the ground, and you'll say it to somebody one time, they'll be like, what? Then you'll have to go down the list.
Yeah.
But that's all it is, man, is that you acquire this big textbook knowledge, and we can talk planes of motion and muscle contraction, blah, blah, blah. Or I can make it really simple. And that is like the true mark to me, is like, do I need 50 words, or can I give it to you in 5? And, that's where it starts, right? Like my hope, and like I think at every affiliate, like at Derby City, we have ambassadors, or they have ambassadors now. I miss that place. But they have ambassadors, right? And like, I have no problem with these people like helping, right? Like it takes a village. And I think you be a part of the village. It's cool. Like nobody should shame. Now, I also saw on an MMA place that said, no white belt coaches. So on your first day, probably don't yell at people coaching.
Yeah.
But like, right? Like, when you've been there long enough, like you got a little time under your belt, like, oh man, here's what worked for me. Like nobody, like, at the heart of that, like you're in this social thing to where like you're sharing your experience, and like take fitness out of it. Like that's all it is. Like you do that in any other area of life. It's a beautiful thing. And that's exactly what it is, right? Like sharing your experience and hoping that like it helps move the needle for somebody else. And like, that is what, like, we're going to get fit and big and strong and all this stuff. But if I can make it to where like, especially in a time where speaking face to face is a lost art, if I can get you while we put our phone down for an hour for you to interact with somebody and like, oh, now you don't have social anxiety. You can get out and like have this kind of rich, full life if that's what you want socially or whatever. Like, I'm cool with fitness as that avenue. And like, that's all it is. Like, share your experience, that snowballs into other stuff. And like, it's such a web that this stuff has, man. It's you know, how do they put it? The most elegant solution to the world's most vexing problem. And it's not just like your health markers. It's, you know, your social anxiety, your ability to like think you're worth some stuff. Cause it's wild to me the amount of people that come in, and you're right. Like, and you learn quick if you stay in affiliate for a while. Like, you being 40 doesn't mean you're an adult. Right. Like, and it's wild the things people have gone without that you like, to some people are just a basic thing. To me, like, had a really encouraging mom, never had like this self-esteem thing, right? Like, until a certain point in my life, like, was that arrogant, like, jerk. And sometimes still am, you know, between my ears. I try not to say it out loud that much. Unless I really need to. But it's wild that when you can share an experience with that with somebody and they, you know, from a place of love, and they're like, oh man, that, you know, that's me. Like, I can love me too. And it's not crazy. And, you know, it's magic, dude. And getting to see, like, I don't think there are many things in life you can do where you see fruits of your labor so immediately work, or you get to see things grow, right? Like, I put stuff in motion hoping that it goes in a direction later down the road. Maybe I'll see it, maybe I won't. But like, in those spots, like, you saw it, you said 2 words, so lady. Like, and I guarantee she went and told her friend Susie and her Bunko group about it, right? She told somebody, and it's, you know, those fires are powerful, man. It's so much further than fitness. And that's like, I joke all the time and say fitness and fellowship, but like that fellowship part, like, I like being fit and all that stuff, but getting to love on people, man, like, it's a real selfish endeavor for me, and it just fills my cup up, and it's a fire I like to set.
Cool, man. Well, before we go, you're going to the games again.
Yeah, we have to talk about that.
I know, we got to talk. We can't just not talk about that. Behind you got hashtag Meek Squad, right? Is that what you put there?
It's not an accident. You know what? I'm gonna leave that at my brother and his husband's house while they're not here.
Yes.
My brother's running a marathon tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
I
wild.
said he's not an athlete. That cat is he's branching out. I'm super proud. So Andrew's I don't know if he's gonna win, but boy, he'll finish it. He's been running a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. Jody's gonna be pissed. But yeah, man, we did France together. That was the first time we had ever worked out together. We got second to a really good Invictus Boston team. We almost snuck up on them. They're really good. Kelsey's a monster. They had a few monsters on that team. We decided to run it back, right? And my lady's pregnant. I am very all in. There are 2 or 3 things I've ever cared to be good at, and it's being a husband. Hopefully I get that a little better, and being a dad. And so this was like my Kobe Bryant farewell tour. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm going to do one this year. Which is also why, like, I've been off Instagram. I've never done the suffer in silence thing a lot. And like, you said, when I used to post things every day, never missed a 10-slide story from a training montage. Rocky every day. But, so I did the suffer in silence thing. I switched coaches, working with Jason Lyden and Conquer Athlete, because I was just I had known Christian through the Instagrams. But, we didn't pass him, like, dap him up, what's up? We were both Ramwad guys. And we go to France, and similar build, right? Like, I'm 6'2", 215, 220 on a bad day if I've eaten what I want.
Yeah.
Jean knows all about that, man. Jean knows all about that. You were hitting up Taco Bell, weren't you?
Bro, after Ireland,
dude,
on, 7 straight days.
Taco Bell and Chipotle.
Jean is
I feel you.
It's not okay.
It's like Taco Bell's like the starter lady, and then you graduate to the prettier girl, Chipotle, but you still love that ugly one.
That's exactly how I describe it.
How Jean is.
Yeah.
That's it. You got to go back to the original. So we meet, right? We do great in France. Like, vibe is awesome. Like, Kelly Baker, Brooke Haas, and Christian Harris. We just, at the heart of it, have fun, right? Like, good time. There's no pointing of fingers if something goes wrong, which is a big deal to me, because I've been on teams that did not get along. And I've been on teams that were not very talented that did awesome because we had the most fun.
Yeah.
And like in 2015, we got 7th at the games. was not the most talented team I've ever been on, and we just loved each other, man, and balled. Like we took a girl who had never done a legless rope climb, I don't think, Laura Clark. She did 3 on Sunday to get us into the final. It was just an awesome experience. Like, and,
That's awesome.
You know, so those people are some of my best friends. Yeah, it was a great experience. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was coming off a year where I got like 25th at regionals, just trash. But so we go to France. Christian is same build as me. We're both pretty good at gymnastics, as we're both coaches, right? We move well. Kat is insanely strong. I cycle a barbell really well in Misfit. You know, we do that. And so I'm intrigued, right? Like he runs a 7:20 mile for an 8K.
Whew.
And you did Misfit. I'm real good at sprinting.
Yeah.
Long game was not my bag. And that's mostly because like a cop out to me, right? Like I've never in my brain cared about anything longer than 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I didn't need to, right? Like team is sprint, rest, sprint. Not now. So I'm super impressed. I meet Jason. He was there. And I've always seen this tall, just slinky guy with cool tattoos just creeping around in the back. So we kick it a little bit and hit it off. I told him that. I was like, man, I thought you were a creep. But I've been with my man for close to a year now. And I tell you what the difference is. I know what I'm really good at. Sprints, cycling the bar, big sets of gymnastics. And I had done none of that leading up to the Open. It's all like, hey, we're going on a 6, 7 out of 10 effort. I want you to breathe through your nose, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, man, cool. Like, I'm cool to put my head down, do whatever's on the list. I have the tools. I feel like Christian has where we kind of fill gaps for each other on a team. But I need a little bit more of this long stuff. And I'll dabble. What's up? So since France, I worked with him. So has Kelly. Christian's been with him forever. Christian's a coach for him. And, dude, I did not feel like I was in very good shape just because it was such a different methodology than I had been used to. And I went in the Open and I didn't do any of them twice. I did Friday Night Lights, dressed like a jerk. I think I dressed up like Will Smith for the last one, like in a full full Fresh Prince. I wore my Jordans, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air uniform.
Yes.
And, and crushed that workout. It was great. But I think I ended up getting, I was like top 200
Nice.
to 2.5, cruising. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, we can go. And so we push it. We go to Ireland, first event, get a 13. We knew that wouldn't be a good one for us. And then when we came inside, and the cool thing about that was like that's a punch in the face, right? Like you can't. It's just like regionals. You can't have a terrible event, and nobody freaked out. Which, dude, to me, like at this point in my life, like I'm 31, I'm as fit as I can be right now. Like nothing I can do today is going to make me fitter for this event. Just like. We're going to run the race and like love on each other. And that's exactly what happened. We were like, all right, cool. Wash it. Got 8 more events. And we got inside and just went on just breaking off 2s and 1s. Mm-hmm. And we moved well. I mean, and I had some mistakes. Nobody freaked out. I almost screwed us we did Grace and Isabel, crushed people on that. Our girls are really good. And they put up with me and Christian being so tall. Yeah, we're the size of normal adults. Can't help it. But we had fun, man. That was just like, and it was a time, right? Like my pregnant lady's in the stands, and God bless her for being the support system she's been for 5 years. And I've been fortunate enough to have her in a corner to where very capable of participating, but some work stuff. And her, you know, she's a urologist. She was in residency at UK, and I can't say enough about that lady's like commitment to supporting me in this stuff and loving on me. And even when I know it means a lot to her and she's had to miss out through some things she couldn't control. She's a trooper, and especially 28 weeks pregnant flying to Ireland. She said she's never seen so many people so nervous. Oh, how far along are you? You're not going to spit this thing out, are you? No, I'll just be gassy.
Yeah.
But we ran inside and we went like just bangers. And honestly, when they came out with the events, I knew when we got inside that it would be just not a lot of game plan for other people. We would run our race and see if that was, and it would be enough.
Yeah.
I thought we executed well. And any event where we move 4 people at a time and we have to do it as a unit, bro, we do so well. And it's because like we know each other, you know, as much as you can know somebody for working out twice. We care that everybody's having a good experience, and like that I trust those people to put it on the line. Like if you go back and watch that thruster burpee workout, like I hung Christian out to dry in the front of the worm But my man is doing like, you remember the old school drill, like popcorn, where you hop over somebody and land on your belly?
Yeah.
He was doing burpees like that, and we ended up getting like a no rep. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry, I hung you out. Like I should have switched. But that's the language it is, man. Like everybody's looking for responsibility. You know, hey, this is on me. It's never like fingers pointing away from you. And I think what's new to me is that and Drew has said this to me before, Drew Crandall at Misfit, like, I think my thing in competition was always to make light of it, right? Like I'm going, oh, we're going to have a good time. Like, yeah, you can do that, but it's okay to take responsibility for the work you've done and take hold of it and go express that, right? So I've never been one to take it very serious. And we had a great time, but as soon as we stepped on the floor, like I locked in and I stood on the start mat and I visualized. It's insane that every time I did that, exactly is what happened, like from how we would run across the finish line. And that's just, I was super prepared because Jay, you know, Jay's a nerd, man. And the program's so good. Like I'm a big like health and wellness guy, but that coupled with his knowledge and, you know, the way he programs and stuff like that. Like I feel like we're going to be able to go and not just partake. So, and it doesn't matter what they put up, right? Like you go back and watch all the events from last year, it's a lot of whole team stuff and we're going to have fun. You know, it's a good looking bunch. So there'll be a lot of cool pictures and,
Yeah,
I'm excited, man. And I love those folks. Like it's, we celebrate each other, man. And it's the most fun. And then she's going to get to bring a 6-month-old and just strap it and just be up there raging. I have no idea what we're naming her yet, but girl will be there.
Yes.
So it'll be a good time, and I'm excited. I love the games. I got to go coach Chandler last year. Coach is a loose term. He was fit. I did nothing for him physically. Lot of hugs. And it is going to be scary to see that guy qualify through the Open and have this long to prepare.
Yeah.
And with the job he's got with the military, bro, like my man is going to go wreck.
Yeah.
Like I'm so excited for that cat. And I think my boy Vic came up last year. So I think Vic and Caleb or somebody that work with me at Mississippi CrossFit are going to need to come. So it'll be a big family affair, the White Mamba farewell tour. So we'll be out there. It'll be cool, man. I'm excited.
Is there a way for, because people can find you, Dex Hopkins on Instagram. Is there a
unique name?
Yeah. But is there a way that if people are interested that they can like follow along, or is it all through Instagram? Also, is there a way for people to support your team? Do you guys have something like that?
Man, Ramwad, the support side, like I've been super fortunate enough to be involved with them and Ryan Schultz, and
they're good people, man. Good people.
Oh, dude, yeah, they're insane. Him and Scott, just can't say enough, dude. And in 2015, bro, we were the first team. And I'm talking about, like, I remember Ryan flying out and them having to, like, check the bank account to come take us out to eat.
Nice.
And now they'll take you, your family, his family, all the people they met on the way. But that's them, though, dude. They got a heart to bring everybody with them, right? And I'm big for the everybody eats thing. So, yeah, dude, they do a great job of promoting, like, the team and stuff. And I want to say we're the only team this year, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, my Instagram is just my name. It's very unique, and I can't change it now. It's Dex Hopkins. But that, dude, I hate Facebook so much, and I don't know why. Just it's easy to scroll through Instagram and post stuff.
Yep.
So, but that's where all my stuff is. And like Ron Watt will post stuff. Christian's is I am Christian Harris. Kelly's is Kelly Baker something. But they're all on my Instagram if you click up a picture or something. But we'll be out there, and I'm done with the suffering in silence. I'll be back out there pumping out the stories here. So I did my first one the other day.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get back in the swing, man. So it'll be we'll be at CrossFit Westwood for training until we move. So it'll be cool.
Cool, man.
Sweet, man.
Well, thanks again. This is an awesome conversation.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, appreciate y'all, man. I was excited to do it.
Yeah, man. We'll be rooting for you guys.
Thanks, Bubba.
All right.
See you, dude.
Sweet, bro.
Later, boys.